Are you a new or returning player coming back into Battlefront 2 in 2025? Well, don't fear, because this is the series for you. Welcome to the How To series, where we break down every hero in Battlefront 2, from the dark side to the light side, from saber heroes to blaster heroes. This is the series for you. We will break down every single hero's star cards, abilities, general kit, and strengths and weaknesses. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. What is going on, everybody? My name is Swag and welcome back to another Battlefront 2 guide. Today we are going to be doing Han Solo on the light side, who is arguably one of the best blaster heroes in the entire game. I'm pretty sure he has the highest damage dealing blaster per hit. It is unbelievably strong. His kit's really fun to use in both co-op modes and in hero modes, and when he chucks his detonite charge is incredibly satisfying to get kills with and to knock people off the map. So let's dive into his kit, shall we? Starting with his left ability, detonite charge. Han Solo throws a sticky charge which can be detonated at will. He can also detonate this while it's being thrown, so in case you don't want to wait for it to be on the ground, you can detonate it in the air. Detonite charge is pretty damn fun. You can chuck it into objectives and kill a bunch of people, or you can chuck it onto enemy heroes, lightsaber dudes who are blocking, trying to throw it behind them so that they can get knocked over, and then maybe you can run away or shoulder charge. You can actually combo quite a bit with detonite charge, where you can combo it into shoulder charge and then just try and headshot as much as possible so you can get maximum damage, or you can run away, whatever your call is. Detonite charge is super good to use. It can be buffed with star cards to make it even stronger as well, and it's just incredible, really. His middle ability, sharpshooter. Han Solo can fire the DL-44 rapidly for the next few seconds. This can be a good ability to use every now and then. Because you're shooting a lot, you can use it to technically drain stamina from lightsaber villains. The problem is a lot of that can get deflected back onto you, especially when you're playing against a Vader who's walking up to you and you choose to use your middle ability. Your best option in that scenario is probably to just run away and ignore shooting that Vader in particular, because all those shots are going to be deflected back at you. You're going to take more damage, and then when the saber hero finally comes close to you, you're basically half HP by that point. So not worth using in that scenario. In terms of just basic trooper modes, yeah, you could use it like that if you want to, where you can just rush opponents. But in general, I think it's just better to practice aiming with the blaster you get, because it can one-shot to the head. So the better your aim is with that, the less you'll need to use the middle ability. So it's kind of situational. You don't really need to use it too often, but it's there in case you need it. Shoulder charge. Han Solo charges forward, knocking over and damaging the first enemy he hits. Enemies are damaged and staggered when blocking. So, as I said before, you can combo this in from detonite charge, where you chuck your grenade first, and then when someone gets knocked over, you follow up with shoulder charge, and then you blast them in the head as quickly as you possibly can to maximize as much damage as you can possibly do. Obviously, the issue is you just used all your abilities and now you have to rely on you dodging the attacks simultaneously, which can be tough if you don't know how to do that. But if you pair up a certain card, you can actually get 3 dodges, which makes your survivability go up. So you don't really need to worry too much about not having ability uptime, because by the time you've dodged like 3-4 times, you'll get your grenade back and then you can chuck it again and then repeat the combo. So it's actually not too bad in that sort of sense. Shoulder charge for single target, like troopers, is, I mean, it one-shots. I think it one-shots all troopers apart from heavies and other infantry. But basic infantry, like specialists, officers, and assaults, I'm pretty sure it one-shots. Otherwise, if it doesn't, they could easily be finished with your blaster anyway. They get knocked down, you headshot them, and they're dead. I'd say this has more utility in H3V and Hero Showdown because of the knockdown potential, which you can combo with detonite charge, which you can combo with you headshotting with your blaster. So there is some utility there. I think it can also get buffed with certain cards, which we will dive into very soon. Now that we have read his kit though, let's dive into his first card. Broad Shoulders. Han Solo receives less damage while using shoulder charge, and it goes up to 40%, which is actually kind of crazy and cracked. anytime you're using shoulder charge, you're taking 40% less damage. This is incredible when you're playing those big trooper modes and loads of shots are being fired, and let's say you want to just get around to the other side of the map really quickly, or just trying to get to a better position. You can shoulder charge there, which will increase your movement speed as well, because you move faster, and you'll get to your position faster without taking as much damage. So all the benefits come from using shoulder charge, pairing this card up. In terms of HVV modes, similar sort of thing. Obviously, when you're going against force wielders though, it's a little bit different. If you get choked, frozen, pulled, you can't do much about that. You can't resist forced attacks unless you dodge correctly, which is a little bit hard to time with force attacks, but it's not going to be effective in that scenario. And most people play lightsaber heroes and villains, and they will use force attacks, so this card is sort of less ideal in that case. But anytime you're playing against blaster troops, blaster villains, very nice card. Sharpshooter's Calm. Sharpshooter shots reduce less active time. To be honest, any card that plays into Sharpshooter, I don't really care about too much. We did mention that the middle ability can have some utility, but it's better to just aim with your blaster, really. Unless the villain that you're playing against is out of stamina, then you can unload with your middle ability. Other than that, just practice aiming. Honestly, not really too much. You just shoot for long with your middle ability. That's all it really does. So if you want to get into that, play it sure. There are some nicer cards later on. Keep your head cool. After each headshot kill, Han Solo is able to fire his blaster without overheating for a short period. This is good if you can aim with your blaster very well. If you struggle to aim, it's less effective, but for those people who can aim, this card basically just rewards you, and you can shoot for an infinite amount of time basically. For longer, you can dish out more damage, and so forth. You can drain more stamina against lightsaber heroes because you're shooting more and they have to block more. So the card is good. That's really all I can say. It's rewarded for those people who can aim. If you can't aim, it's a little bit less rewarding, but that's just a skill issue. Next to the bigger cards, we got Big Bang. Letting the detonate charge sit for 5 seconds after it is attached to a surface will increase its blast radius. So, the first little detail of this card is it needs to sit for 5 seconds, which is a pretty lengthy amount of time. In HVV, it's usually quite quick. You're usually detonating things in the air, not really on the ground. And to be honest, just having a blast radius increase isn't too great. It's not a damage increase, it's just an explosion increase, which might be good in trooper modes. Let's say you're holding a choke point and you chuck your detonite in there. The problem is people can see when you've chucked it, because a little indicator will appear on their screen. So if you have to let it sit there for 5 seconds, they're just going to run away before you let that 5 seconds happen. And by then you probably won't. It'd be better to detonate it sooner while you're throwing it in the sky, to be honest. Which is why this card is a little bit better airburst, but I'll get onto that soon. But Big Bang, I don't think it's too great because you have to let it sit there for a while and cook. Maybe when you're holding choke points and hallways and stuff and they have to rush in, it can be good there. But for the most part, people are going to just run away from it or take a different route. So just be aware of that. All in, each defeat with shoulder charge tackle will reduce the recharge time before the ability can be used again. So basically you're able to chain the shoulder charge a little bit sooner for each kill you get. So this is more utilized for trooper modes where you're able to one shot and just continuously shoulder charge. It's fun to use, but the issue is it's single target. You can't do shoulder charge against a group, you'll get blitzed. And because it's single target, you can't really deal with a huge crowd of people. So that's the issue with shoulder charge in general. That's how it was designed. But if you want to mess around with this card, feel free to spam shoulder charge as much as possible. But in general, don't really advise it competitively or in any HPV mode, to be honest. So probably stay away from this card. Good card coming up, Airburst. The detonite charge will deal bonus damage if detonated before attaching to a surface. So when you chuck it and you detonate it in the air, it's going to do 20% more damage. More damage is a hell of a good thing to have in this game, especially when it's on this sort of grenade build. It can be pretty damn nice. I've always used Airburst for every single game mode, chucking it into a zone, chucking it in front of a villain. Everyone does this. The Airburst is just gonna literally passively make you do more damage. So just always have it on. It's always going to be good. Having 20% more damage, why the hell not? On the most spammable ability out there, yes please. Smuggler's Wits. Han Solo gains an extra dodge charge, but all cooldowns are increased. So basically you go from 2 dodges to 3 dodges now, but your cooldown for abilities has also increased. Honestly, take this card as well, it's really good. The only way you can survive against lightsaber heroes is to dodge their attacks and time your dodges on their lightsaber swings, or try and time it on their force abilities and so forth. So dodging more helps you survive more, which will allow you to maybe chuck more grenades, maybe do another shoulder tackle, or maybe get away far enough that you can beam them with your blaster. So having that extra dodge is always nice to have. And when you full upgrade this card, 2 seconds of extra time to your abilities doesn't really impact you that much, to be honest. 2 seconds is not a lot. It's worth it to take it for the extra dodge you get. I would always recommend having this card on. Heavily Modified Blaster. An improved capacitor allows Han Solo's blaster to build less heat when firing. So similar to Keep Your Head Cool, you're basically going to be able to shoot more because you're building less heat. The more you shoot, the more damage you can do, and that's pretty much it. If you like playing around with the blaster being in your hand, because it does do a lot of damage and it is fun to use, go for it. This is the blaster to use. Probably ideal for those trooper modes, to be honest. But if you're blitzing a hero, or a blaster villain, sorry, or a lightsaber guy who's low on stamina, yeah, this will be nice to have as well. It just lets you do more damage, basically, because you're building less heat on the blaster. Sharpshooting Frenzy. Each defeat with Sharpshooter will extend its duration. Once again, this plays into the middle ability, and once again, I don't really care too much about that. If you're someone who likes to I mean, even still, just chuck your grenade into the zone. You don't need to use this for any point, really. You're mainly playing into the left ability, which is what you're going to be spamming the most. And you'll shoulder charge to move into different locations, or shoulder charge one single infantry. Sharpshooter, if you wanted to, you can extend duration. It's just something I wouldn't recommend too much, because we shouldn't really be playing into the middle ability. But be my guest, if you want to do that, go for it. So, now that we have discussed and explained his abilities and his cards, what are the ideal HVV and Hero Showdown cards, which is what I mainly main? Let me select them. First, I think the setup of having Airburst, Smuggler's Wits, and Heavily Modified Blaster are really nice for those Hero Showdown modes, HVV modes, just because it plays into the grenade. You get the extra dodge so you can survive the lightsaber characters a bit more easily, and you can also do more damage because you build less heat with your blaster, so you shoot more, and the more you shoot, the more damage you should do. You could, if you really don't like shooting too much, I guess, swap out one of these for Broad Shoulders just to make you take 40% less damage. This card is nuts. I would probably keep these two just because everyone plays into the grade. Having an extra dodge is nice. You could swap for Broad Shoulders, Airburst, and Smuggler's Wits as well. That's also a good, nice little thing to have. For co-op and anything else, Supremacy, Galactic Assault, Airburst, 100%, Broad Shoulders, and Heavily Modified Blaster, or you could swap that out for Keep Your Head Cool. So Keep Your Head Cool, Broad Shoulders, and Airburst. Basically, you have to play into a little bit more of its blaster. If you're good at aiming and you can get headshot kills, Keep Your Head Cool is always going to be nice. But if in general, if you want to just build less heat on your blaster, which is also a good thing, then you can go for Heavily Modified Blaster. Generally, both cards work well in those grouped modes, and I don't really recommend you play anything else. This is more of an arcadey card. This takes too long. Sharpshooter, that's the problem. This is also the same problem. This is good. Smuggler's Wits, you could go for more dodges if you want to, but if you're someone who kind of hides behind cover and stuff like that, you don't really need the extra dodge anyway. So these three cards are always good to have. And that is the end for Han Solo, one of the best blaster heroes who does the most damage out there. And he has a pretty fun kit. Sharpshooter is just kind of hit or miss, but that's why we don't have too many cards playing into him, and that's why I'm not recommending that many cards play into Sharpshooter, because I think you should just play into Detonate Charge, Shoulder Charge if you wanted to, for the damage reduction, and his main blaster, which is his strongest part of his kit. It's how much damage his blaster does. So that's what the cards are built for, and that's what we have selected. As always, if you guys thought this guide was helpful, feel free to like, sub, and comment. And also tell me which blaster hero you would like. And also tell me which blaster hero or villain you would like to see me play next and make a guide for. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.